I'm letting tarot cards pick my reads for the next week, and I'm so excited. I'm participating in Tarot Readathon, which is created by Noelle and Deja. I'll make sure to leave the announcement video down below. It's one of my favorite readathons on BookTube currently because it's just so good for mood readers. Essentially, all of the cards in a tarot deck, minor and major arcana, have prompts associated with them. So you pick a prompt and then you read a book for that prompt. For example, if I were to pick the Two of Swords, the prompt associated with that is to read a book featuring multiple POVs. This is a competitive readathon. You do join a team and then you get points for your team by reading for the prompts. There's a couple other ways you can get points as well. So as I said, the announcement video is linked down below for you. I'm joining Team Wands. Literally have been waiting for this readathon all year because I had so much fun with this vlog last year. So I'm excited to see what the deck has in store for me. But let's pick our first card and let's get the prompt going. I never know how much I should shuffle these. I really don't know what I'm doing, but something will just grab my attention and we will go for it. Okay, let's go, honestly, really close to the top. Let's go for this one right here. We got the Nine of Cups. Oh! Well, the cards were in my favor because the Nine of Cups is to read a 5-star prediction. Let's go to the shelves, let's pull out a couple 5-star predictions, and let's figure out what we're reading. Okay, so off the top of my head, the easiest thing for me to do for this prompt would be to continue on in Broken Dove. I'm actually halfway through this already and I really do want to continue it. And I do think this is a 5-star prediction, even though it's taking me a really long time to read. I just had some issues with sequels recently and I've been really taking my time with this one, which is not a bad thing, even though like I do typically read things like very, very quickly. So this is like option 1. I think option 2 would be my book club book, which is Stormbreaker by Nisha J. Tooley. This is a YA dystopian and already people are starting to read it for my book club and they're really liking it. They're flying through it and that has me even more excited to pick it up in 5-star prediction vibes, you know? Option 2. Option 3 would be to dive back into the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. I love this series and I gave book 5 stars and it's been a while since I've been in this series, so it's kind of calling me again. Option 4 and 5, Because I Killed Him, which is a dystopian romance that I'm seeing blowing up everywhere. And option 6 would be the Dark Lord's Guide to Dating and Other War Crimes. This thing has just been calling to me recently. However, it's been rainy and I feel like I want to read this when it's sunny for some reason. So these are my 6 options for this prompt. Honestly, I should be realistic and I think I should finish Broken Dove before I do anything else physical. I just think that if I give it too much time, then it won't become a 5-star since I am someone who likes to binge read something. So I think we are gonna pick Broken Dove. So we've had a change of plans because somehow I forgot about a 5-star prediction and I didn't put it in the last video clip. And when I remembered this book existed, I knew I had to drop everything to read. Broken Dove will get read at some point. Some point, I swear, because I am having a good time with that book, so I don't know why I haven't finished it yet. I think it's just because I don't really have time or want to sit with a physical book and read, but I have an ebook edition of this. But currently, I literally like just started last night The Anatomy of Magic by Alexis L. Menard, and I am 22% in already. I'm on chapter 8. I'm using last year's Readathon bookmarks for Carry On City because if you didn't know, Alexis L. Menard wrote one of my favorite romanticises of all time, The House of Bane and Blood. That duology is just peak perfection to me. And last year's Readathon, so 2025, was Carry On City, and it was inspired by The House of Bane and Blood for sure. It was this urban setting because I had loved the urban setting of House of Bane and Blood so much, so it only felt fitting to use this, especially because the Anatomy of Magic is also an urban city. And good news for us who liked the House of Bane and Blood, this feels like that series again, but it does feel different and unique enough that it doesn't feel like we just read the same story, but it has the same like essence and vibes, and that's what I want when I read multiple books by an author. I want them to feel different, I want them to feel unique, but I want the essence of the story to feel like the author wrote it, you know? And her writing style is just perfectly crafted for my brain. It's not overly descriptive, but it's not to the point, just like simple either. I fall into it so quickly, I get obsessed with it, and I already know I like these two characters. It's gonna be a little bit reluctant allies to lovers. We follow our main character who is struggling for money in this city, and so she ends up smuggling bodies, like dead bodies, across the city to get paid. She doesn't know why the buyer wants these bodies, but she's kind of in the perfect position because she's actually a doctor's apprentice. So she gets a lot of these dead bodies, and then they have to dispose of them, and instead of disposing of them the proper way that they're supposed to, she smuggles them out. And now one of those bodies ends up being the like mayor of this city, and of course as she's smuggling this body across the city, she gets caught with it, and now she's arrested for the murder of the mayor that she did not do. But she's no snitch, and she's got people on the line that have cared for her and helped her within this system, so she's not gonna snitch for them. She's gonna be sent to the mines to die unless she can prove that she did not murder this guy. She ends up teaming up with the city's biggest, hottest, baddest crime daddy. And they've already had a couple scenes together, and I know that when they start to get like a little bit romantic, oh, it's going to be so good, because the way they're like picking at each other, like the little banter they have already, even in the first scene, was so good. Like I already feel the tension between them. I actually think that this could be another 5-star, could be another best book of the year, and I'm so excited because I love Alexis Almenard, and if I can be her biggest fangirl, that would be absolutely insane. If I could find another auto-buy author this year, that would be incredible, because typically I am someone who likes one series from an author and then doesn't like another series from the author, and then this year I fell in love with Julie Soto as an author. I've given every single thing that she's written 5 stars, and if I can find that in another one, I've always wanted to be able to say like, these are my auto buy authors, and I've never had that ability, and like this makes me so excited that I might have auto buy authors starting to come, and that I finally found like, I think this style of writing, honestly, they kind of remind me of each other. They're very like clear, but they're still descriptive, but they're not like overly descriptive. It just like works so well in my brain, and they both kind of do it. So if you like Julie Soto, check out Alexis Almenard and like Back and Forth, in my opinion, and the way they write romance, both of them, is just like banter filled and fun and so much tension. Oh, I also have Ariel Sullivan, who I think is an auto-buy author now too, because I gave Conform 4 stars and then Beneath 5 stars. So like my auto-buy author list is going up. Incredible. I'm so excited to continue this today. I'm actually going to continue reading because I ended up canceling my stream today, and so I think I'm gonna sit down and read. It's probably so windy out here that you can't hear me, but the tension between these two, oh, it's so good. I have a massive issue with my closet. It is overfilling. This is what my closet currently looks like. There's also laundry here. So I need to figure something out. I just don't have enough space in here. So today I went to IKEA and I decided to get a wire basket storage organizer that I'm gonna put inside the closet. I think I'm gonna need 2, but they're not expensive, but they're also not like the cheapest thing. So I wanted to make sure that it worked first. So I'm gonna build one and see how that goes in my closet before I go and get another. While I was out, I also got these cute little coasters. I hate what it comes in, so this is probably just gonna be repurposed somehow. But the coasters I think will look really cute on my desk downstairs. I also got this really cute set from a local company, and I'm so excited to wear this around the house. It is so comfy. There was an Amazon package at my door I need to open. I guess we could do that. I was like, I don't know what this is. This is for my cats. We got little can covers. because we'll only give them like half to a quarter of wet food at a time, and they get like it daily. And so right now we just have them saran wrapped in our fridge, but I thought these little covers were really cute, especially with the ears, and they're fitting my aesthetic with the green. And then I also got from IKEA this cute little clock. I think I'm just gonna put this on either my nightstand or my desk downstairs. Once my desk is like actually built in, I want to put like proper shelving and stuff in, so I'm trying to slowly also buy things and stuff for that. I also have like a whole project coming to do. I bought a bulletin board that's being shipped to me, and I want to put that in the room. I really wish I could find LED lights that weren't plug-in, because above the bulletin board I think a little like neon sign would look really cute, but I don't really have a power cord anywhere near there, so I'm trying to figure out what else I could do with that space. That will come in this vlog, so we'll kind of walk through it. But I am really excited to put like these on my desk, and I like the black. I like that we get to pull in a bunch of different tones. Really, wood is my favorite color, so cute. Well, I'm gonna put this together, and I don't know whether I'm going to actually put things in my closet today, but I'm just gonna put this together for now and then see where the day takes me. I'm kind of hungry because I haven't eaten anything since breakfast, and it's like 2 o'clock, so it's like too late for me to make lunch. So I think I'm gonna try and hold out for like an hour and then eat a really early dinner, and then probably just have like a snack. I haven't been going to bed till like midnight, 1 o'clock, so I can just eat around like 9 or 10 again. Hello, did you miss me all day? Go venture. I'm actually love how cute these are. I can't lie, these are adorable. Oh, also my sister gave me lick mats. There are truly two types of people in the world, because my cats use lick mats and I have these cute like aesthetic colors. I bought my lids in aesthetic colors. I want all of their stuff to still be cute and fit like the vibe of my house, and my cats fit the vibe of my house. Like they are orange and brown and black and neutral. My sister's lick mats, but they were free, so I'm not gonna complain. But like, I think we're different people. Here's the thing, they were the same price. I didn't pay more to have cute ones, but I would have paid more to have cute ones very easily. And the cats are freaking out because they think they're getting a lick mat. Okay friends, progress has been made. I'm on chapter 23. I'm 68% through the book. I don't think it's gonna be the 5-star I quite wanted it to be, which is obviously depressing, but I'm still enjoying it. I think from about 32% to 50-ish, 55%, there's a lot of like journeying, and they're running away from law enforcement, and it's just like one place to the next, and I think that part wasn't my favorite. I'm not 100% in love with like on the run plot lines in general, so that definitely was a weak spot for me. And then I do think they're clearly into each other a little too quickly. I wish it was a little bit more slow burn, especially because I loved their banter moments. We are still getting those, but a little bit too romantically for me already. Well, we're at 68%, so like I want them now, but I think they just happened too early in general. So like around 40% we were getting them, and I kind of wish we had waited till at least halfway through. They are not together yet. It's still like a slow burn 100%, but they definitely are like into each other very clearly. Everyone else knows it. It's just them who doesn't know it. But I think they also kind of know it, and I think that's the part that I'm not 100% on. Like I kind of wish they still like weren't admitting to themselves that the other person liked them, but I think they kind of both do already. They're just like holding themselves back due to past issues, specifically on his end. I really liked the last, I want to say like 15%, as we've learned more about where he came from and his past, and kind of the academy setting that is in this story that is not like a part of how the story is told, but there is an academy. We just aren't part of the academy, but our male character has experienced parts of that academy, and we're kind of like learning that a little bit more. I do think I want more about the school setting and the academy setting, but I'm willing to let it get there through the second book in the duology, and I am still really into these two. Like I still really do like their romance. I'm feeling like a 4-star. It did have a lot to live up to, considering House of Bane and Blood is like one of my all-time favorite stories. I don't know if that did it any favors, but I still did enjoy this, and I really thought the world was really cool. The way this magic works with like these dye that he has to use, and the way that there's like, they're not vampires, but they're kind of vampire-like. There's people in this world who are born with magic inside of their bones, and then there's people who kind of have the magic but can't access it, but they can access it if they drink the blood of the people who who have the magic. That aspect is really cool as we follow these like vampire-like creatures who are not vampires in the terms of like they need blood to survive, but they need blood to get abilities, and it also has enhanced them because they drink blood. They now kind of have fast healing and things like that because this blood is kind of magical. So I think that that is really fascinating, and there are like blood donors and stuff, and I really enjoyed that aspect. It's very non-vampire-ish, but takes obviously inspiration from vampires, and I find it very, very intriguing. As I talk about this book, I like it even more, and that's the problem. Is like maybe it will be a 5-star because there's so much I like about it. I love the writing style. It's so easy to fall into, and I love the moments our characters have. They just kind of fell too fast, but like also they're not together yet. So am I just being too hard on this book? Sometimes that's like a mind fuck. Like my thoughts on a book and my expectations for a book can fuck with a rating for a book, when like maybe if I had no expectations I would be screaming about this as a 5-star, because my only complaint is the on the run part, I think. Other than that, I have loved these moments, and I love getting to know these two characters, and we just kind of got like a little bit of a found family aspect that's pre-established within his whole storyline, and I've loved all of that. The world building, the city setting is so epic for my brain. Like it just feels so incredible with like all the canals and like the riverboats and everything like that. And then we have like the Magister and the police forces. It feels really well fleshed out considering it's a very small and short book. So I don't know, but we're gonna finish this and I will have final thoughts. However, my bulletin board did come. It's in here. I'm very excited to put it up. I am not sure I'll actually hang it. I might wait for Nick because he's away right now and he'll make sure it's straight, but also I want it up at the same time. So I might put it up, but I'm not even 100% sure what's going on it at this point. I just had this idea in my brain that it could look really cute on this wall right here. So I'm excited that it's here. Also, I have a new video game obsession. Like literally I'm obsessed. I'm gonna play it tonight, I think, because Lexi canceled on our Baldur's Gate night because she has a headache. So valid to cancel. And I'm kind of happy. Slightly, I have been wishing that we cancel because then I can play Final Fantasy instead. I have just started the brand new Final Fantasy. I started Final Fantasy 16 because it had a demo. I instantly fell in love with the storytelling. I instantly was obsessed with this. And I do really like the combat style as well. It kind of reminds me of Hades and Cinderia, which are roguelite games. So like the actual style is nothing like it outside of the fact that the way I use magic and attack is kind of similar. I think it's because I switched to keyboard and mouse instead of controller, and I think I have learned that I'm a keyboard and mouse person. I was really struggling playing with a controller and feeling like I was mashing buttons, which I was like, I don't feel that way in like Valheim and stuff when I play it. So I was like, oh, let's switch to the keyboard. And I think it's because I don't fully know where the buttons are on a controller. Like I know where they are, but like if you ask me what button was X, I think it's the left one. Oh, I was correct. But I could not have told you A, Y, B. I didn't even know that they were called Y and B, even though like X, Y, and A and B make sense. And like the right trigger, the left trigger, all of that does not process really well in my brain, but I can type with my eyes closed. I played keyboard games growing up. Like I love typing on a keyboard. And so I just think I innately know what buttons are. So the fact that this thing is Q or this thing is tab, I can just like instantly do it. I don't have to pay attention at all. So I think I'm a keyboard and mouse lover. And then the Final Fantasy story is so epic and so amazing. I'm literally obsessed. I can't wait to get back to playing it, which is very exciting for me, having a new hyperfixation game, except for not very exciting for my reading and everything like that, because my productivity definitely goes down when I hyperfixate on something. So that's not great, but hopefully I can balance it a little bit better. Okay, this could be such an unhinged idea that I'm having, but I bought a bunch of thumbtacks, but some of the ones I bought, there's about 4 of them that look like these. And I'm thinking, what if I painted numbers onto these so that they kind of looked like a die? I think that could be really cute and like fit the vibe. So I'm gonna get my painting stuff out and I'm gonna attempt this, and it might not work. I also have just like regular like square ones, so I could do like a D6 too, but I don't know, my brain really thinks that this could look like a D20. I don't know how many are on this. I should count. Okay, here is the board as I started to put things on it. This is an overlay from Fourth Wing that I have, some bookmarks. These are 2 Patreon bookmarks that I'm obsessed with, a tarot card I really love, a Crucible sticker, and look at the little die that I painted. I think it really came together and fits the vibe. I know I want to put some pictures with friends and stuff on here, maybe something related to like my favorite video games like Baldur's Gate 3 and Fire Emblem 3 Houses and now Final Fantasy, but I think it's gonna look really cute. And then once this is like actually done, like once this desk is literally built in, it's gonna look amazing in my opinion, because it's gonna be the same tone as my bookshelves. And I just think it's gonna be incredible. I have very conflicted feelings on this book, I'm not going to lie. I actually really did enjoy the last 25-30% of this book. Like since we last talked to the end, I really liked what we had, the information we got, and things like that. However, there is a lot of similarities to the storyline of House of Bane and Blood. Like I can see a lot of similarities, but it's like a different world of almost the same archetype, I guess, like the same ideas. They happen very differently. It feels like we are reading a different book, but because they're written by the same author and I loved one so wholeheartedly, the comparisons are there, and I definitely see how she kind of took the same story and gave it new characters, a new world, and slightly different themes and concepts within it to create this. And I did like this. Like I'm giving it 4 stars, I think. But I want to say that Alexis Almenard's stories have always been more focused on the romance for me. I love her world building. I love the city. I love the setting she made. But I always have more questions about them. We're never getting real details about how the magic works. It's just kind of this like concept, and you just kind of enjoy that concept. And I am someone who tends to ask questions, so it's interesting that I do enjoy them so much because I am someone who wants to know how every little thing works typically. But the way she writes her characters and the pacing of the story has always kept me from, I think, getting in my head about exactly how everything is working. Even in the story at one point, I did think to myself, if her wanted posters are everywhere, how is she going around the city so much? I think it could have been explained because we are in like the crime area and under like a crime lord, although I think that's a little bit dramatic. I don't think he is actually the hottest, baddest crime daddy there is. At least we don't get to see him be that way. We are kind of told he is that, but I don't think it's shown very well. We're not even really shown like his businesses or anything like that. Damien, on the other hand, I actually was like, I would love to see a story with like his romance. I don't know, like I have a lot of complaints, but I also had a really good time. It's not a new favorite, but I'm happy to have this edition from Aluriel, which I think is really pretty. I'm happy to continue on in the series. I'm happy to have read from Alexis Almenard again. I did enjoy it. I just also think it could have been better. I don't really know how else to explain this besides there are issues with it. I wanted to know more information about things, and I wanted it to compare a little bit less to House of Bane and Blood, but if I had read this without reading House of Bane and Blood, I think her ideas, this whole like concept, I really do enjoy. And it's not like it's the most unique plot line. Like I have read this plot line in other stories, but it's just that the two were so similar. And Camilla and Nico, I think, were so much stronger as a romance than these two. But I think I actually prefer the world building in this one than I do to House of Bane and Blood. I really liked the magic system in this. Not that I know really exactly how it works, but like the dice were so cool in my opinion. There's so much I loved about this, really. And like I did love Max as a male character. Oh, the other thing I really loved about this, I love when an author deals with trauma in a very realistic way. Max has gone through a lot, and his traumatic experiences are not just wiped away by falling in love, and you find someone who loves you and is willing to work through some of your trauma together. And there's like a scene in here for them coming together that I thought was really well done to kind of showcase how he still has trauma, but they both want to work through it together. I thought that was really, really, really well done. It wasn't just like wiped away now that he's in love. He wasn't just like, wow, you can touch me because you're like special and chosen. There was definitely still them dealing with what happened to him in his past. That is my 5-star prediction. Sadly, it wasn't 5 stars, but I can submit that now for Tarot Readathon. And then my team card, every week we get like a new weekly challenge, and our weekly challenge currently is the death card, which is to read a book that explores transformation or reinvention, and this definitely counted for that, so I will also submit it for that. I'm trying to find some new angles within my library for us to film vlog clips in. I spend a lot of time in this room, and when I vlog, I always want you to feel like you are a part of my life, not that I'm just like sitting in the same spot and talking about books to you. I always want to bring you into my life. That's why I talk about things I'm obsessed with. I talk about a lot more than just books. I show you my dinner. I try to really bring you into my life, as I said. Like, I don't know how else to say it, because that's the type of content I love to watch. And I do think that this angle is starting to work a little bit better. I didn't like it before, but I think adding the bulletin board has already added like definition to the screen. And then one day I will have stuff on this wall. I'm just kind of waiting to build my desk in and have this done to see what it looks like before I commit to things on the wall, because I have commitment issues when it comes to decor, which is really terrible because I have a very empty house that needs a lot of decor. But this morning we have one thing we need to do. We need to pick another tarot card. I need to pick another book. Last night we played BG3, so I didn't pick one. And then I also knew I was going to catch up on Love Island, so I wasn't going to read in bed. Here's to hoping we get a good one. I think this one is calling my name. What is it? The Six of Pentacles, which is to read a book you received as a gift or a library book. So let's go to the shelves and let's figure out what options we have. With it being my birthday actually later this month, we actually have a lot of options because I have been gifted a decent amount of books recently. These are all ones that I have received from patrons this month, and I really am so blessed to have these people in my life that wish me happy birthday and send me a little birthday gift. I think out of these, I'm currently not really in the mood for a thriller slash horror, so I think I'm not interested in reading Tradwife at this moment. This is one that I saw Jordan from Sorry Booked Solid read, and I know I do want to read this in the future, so I'm very excited that I got it, and thank you so much. Grace Year is like a dystopian. However, This Safe Darkness and above are dystopians that call my name currently just a little bit more than the Grace Year, because I think that one's really old. I actually think Soul Match might be a dystopian as well. I am currently in a dystopian era. I think out of all of these, currently the one that I really do want to read is Above. Let me find the TikTok that I saw of this and then I'll put it on the screen and we can kind of watch it together.
Let's start with the most underhyped book on this list. I feel like I'm gatekeeping this, or like it's some sort of secret that it's a banger, because somehow it still hasn't blown up, but like I feel it should. I literally need everyone to read this book. It is Above by Bria Lamb. I thought since dystopian was back that we were all looking for the next best dystopian read. What are you guys doing? It's right here. This is a dystopian romance with true enemies to lovers set in a magic academy with high stakes, deadly trials, and tons of slow burn tension.
So I am really excited about this one, but I think there's a couple other that I've been gifted recently that I could put on the TBR. These ones. Kissed by the Gods was gifted to me by L'Oreal, the entire book box company. I recently worked with them. They sent me their June picks for an Instagram reel. Very much excited to read this one. So I could do this one. The Veiled Court by C.N. Crawford was sent to me by the author, and I am seeing a lot of people on the internet freak out about this one. So I'm also very interested in reading this one. The Dark Lord's Guide to Dating and Other War Crimes was sent to me by the publisher. And this one I feel like I've put on so many TBRs recently because I am really excited to read this, but I just haven't gotten to it yet, even though I keep putting it on every single TBR. So there's this as an option. Is there anything else? I don't think so. Like, there are other things that have been gifted to me on my TBR, but I think these are the ones that are really calling to me currently. I do know that reading on my Kindle has worked the best for me recently, so I am going to see which ones of these I can get on my Kindle. I know I can get Kissed by the Gods. I'm assuming Above because it's indie. I'm assuming it'll be on KU. So I have to really check for these two. And then I also might see if I have access to any of the audiobooks for these. And then I'll pick one based on what I have access to and maybe read the first chapter of them and decide what I want to read the most because of that. So I read all 4 first chapters and I still couldn't decide what I wanted to read because I feel like they all gave me different things. The Dark Lord's Guide to Dating and Other War Crimes was really humorful, and I feel like this would be a really easy read, which is something I'm interested in, but then I also was just like unsure about the humor. So I was like, I don't know if I'm in the right mood for this, but I could be in the right mood for this. The Veiled Court first chapter was so easy to read. I flew through this. I actually think I ended up reading the first 2 chapters, but they were very short, so it felt justifiable to make a better choice for the other ones also. And I do think I'm gonna read this soon. I just couldn't decide with this prompt currently what I wanted to read. I really liked that this one, we really saw an introduction to our main character, and then we also saw a little bit of the world as well through the eyes of what's happening to her. Kissed by the Gods was probably my least favorite first chapter. It's actually a first chapter I'd already read from before, but this one has the most hype around it. And I feel like this one felt the most developed. It felt the most like substantial, which I really liked. Above's first line was killer in my opinion. Like, I'm very excited to read this one at some point. The first line is leave it to a rich man to be an absolute disappointment. And I just feel like I know her as a main character just from that line. But I don't know, each one had like strengths and weaknesses, so I just couldn't commit. I think it's because I want to win. I'm worried that I'm gonna pick the wrong one and then it'll be my fault when I don't have a win, which is my brain being weird and doing weird things. So I ended up taking it to my Patreon and putting a poll up and let them decide what they wanted me to read. I feel like this was kind of like a cheap way out because I was pretty sure which one was going to win. Kissed by the Gods is the most popular. This is an Illyrial edition and a lot of them have it. A lot of people want to hear my thoughts on this one. I do own 2 editions of this one because I do own the indie paperback as well as this new pretty Illyrial one. And I love this edition. Like, the end paper art is stunning, so I'm really hoping to love this story. So I think we're going to read this one because it is what won the poll and hopefully love it. I think I'm switching to the audiobook because I am working on a sweater. I finally have picked up that pink and red yarn that I bought like 3 months ago, and I'm working on the sweater that I wanted to make with it. So it's just this pink and red stripe. It is going to be so big. I followed the pattern for a large. Actually, I'm 15 less stitches than a pattern for a large, and I like my sweaters to be pretty oversized. I typically buy a medium to a large, especially for something like this and how I want to wear it. But it may be a little too oversized in the end. However, it's such an easy pattern that if I end up liking it, I will make more because this is so easy. I'm just working on the front panel currently. I'm almost done it. This pink one is the last stripe, and then I'll have to make the back panel. I'll have to sew them together and then make the sleeves. The pattern I'm working with is not a good pattern. I actually bought it off someone and I personally think didn't make it beginner friendly at all, and I would still count myself somewhat beginner, but like the actual like stitches themselves, if you know what you're doing a little bit, like that's easy. There's just like some things they missed in the pattern that I was like, a beginner would need this information, so maybe I'm not beginner. I don't know. Overall, happy with how it's turning out. It's literally just a double crochet front loop only, and I think it's gonna be really cute. I'm really excited. I think it's gonna turn out exactly how I want it. If it does, I think I'll make another one that's striped with like smaller stripes but like a different color. I'm obsessed with stripes right now, so yeah. Honestly, my toxic trait is after I make this, if it works out, I'm like, I could make patterns because this was not that hard. I've made really good progress on both my book and my sweater currently. One panel done, almost done the first stripe for the second panel. I really hope this comes together because my last wearable did not work out the way I wanted it to, so I'm really hoping this one does. I'm trying to be looser with my tension. I tend to crochet definitely too tight and I have issues sewing things together. So fingers crossed on this one, but I think I'm doing a lot better. Kissed by the Gods, I won't lie, I struggled really hard with the first 100 pages. There were a few times that I contemplated a DNF. I was definitely complaining a little bit in Mel's Discord because this is her like buddy read book this month for her Patreon, and definitely struggling. But I'm really glad so far that I persevered because I'm currently on chapter 17. So I'm literally 116 pages. So actually I would say probably the first like 75 pages were a struggle, but I want to say around like chapter 12, chapter 13, something clicked that I really did enjoy, and now I want to know where this is going. I'm personally struggling with our main character, and I think the pacing of the start of the book. So the first couple chapters are the inciting incident that get her to a whole new place in this world, but I do think I prefer my first couple chapters to be setting up a character a little bit more than what that did. I feel like it really told me who she was but didn't show me who she was. And then the pacing was just like 4 chapters of this inciting incident, getting her to where the story like actually starts to like take place, which is this setting for this academy, I guess, kind of. So in this world there's a war going on, and then there are people that manifest powers. It's mostly like extra strength and things like that, and they're called ateliers. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm listening to the audiobook, so I should know that, but it went in one ear out the other how to exactly pronounce it. And these soldiers are all men. However, Lena, our main character, has magical abilities just like these soldiers, and when a commander sees her with these abilities, he ends up taking her to their like city where they train and they exist to battle these other creatures. Since she's a woman, there's like, you can't be one of us, you must be a trick, you must be from the demons, like the other people, you're not from our gods, blah 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 blah. So now she has to go through trials to prove that she's god blessed and that the gods are choosing her, and so it's like a fight to her death. And so currently she's like training a little bit. When we do know that something special is happening with her, we know she has a divine gift from a goddess, and I'm excited to see all of that unfold. I'm excited to see exactly what this war is. I'm excited to see the corruption, because I do think it's hinted pretty quickly on that there's something wrong with this king's thought process. Like, I definitely could see him behind some of the corruption. And of course, Lena, coming from a background of peasants, has seen the brutality of the world, the brutality of the king and the queen and the royals. So she feels a different sort of way than the people who were taken very young because they manifest their power quite young and then raised in this city. And also because of the prejudice that they have against her, she's also feeling some sort of way. But I've also really enjoyed the characters that we've gotten. I'm really struggling with her as a character. I feel like I don't really understand her. I feel like her emotions are very told, not show. But I really like the side characters I've gotten so far. I could see a really big found family happening. The ones that seem to take her in and agree with her and have thinking processes with her, like giving her the time of day to have conversations and things like that, I do really, really enjoy. So I'm excited to see that aspect come together. I'm excited to get more of the horse. There is a lot that I'm excited about. I like the setting of like this like castle in the sky kind of. So I'm definitely intrigued by this one, and I'm glad that I persevered through, because I was really debating a DNF within like the first 50 pages. Hopefully this trajectory continues and we continue to just like go up and like it even more, because that would make me very, very happy. I'm not quite done Kissed by the Gods yet, but I do want to pick another book. This tarot card just flew out at me. It's the King of Wands, so should we go with this? I feel like that's how you're supposed to do it, right? Like if something just like falls out, that's what you pick. I know I'm gonna finish Kissed by the Gods very soon, and so I want something that I can pick up tonight physically, probably with an ebook format. The King of Wands is to read a book featuring fame, power, or influence. So celebrities, politicians, royalty, influencers, rich families, mafia. I have, I think, the perfect book for this that I've been very interested in, because I killed him. But this is a big book and I'm not sure it's available on KU. But in this one, there's like low citizens and high citizens. And we follow our main character whose father was a low citizen politician who is publicly challenging high citizens, and she's become a target. And it's a dystopian romance. I've heard really good things about it. It is a chunky boy though, so that really scares me. I've been not flying through books, even though I read Kissed by the Gods in a day. Physically reading, I haven't been flying through them. I can say that by Broken Dove literally just still sitting on my desk right here on red. Like it's like 50% red. So I might end up choosing something different, but I do think that this would fit really, really well, and I'm really interested in it. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can like see on my shelves currently that I think would fit it. Like fame, celebrity, like this has like high politicians. Potentially another dystopian, I guess. Because I do also have Stormbreaker, but I don't think this synopsis gives me like celebrity, royalty, higher power citizen status. I think I'm gonna read the first chapter of this and see how I feel. I've made incredible progress today on both my reading and my crochet project. This is since our last update how much I've done. So I'm working on the 3rd row. I'm about halfway done it. I don't think I'll finish this panel today because I have a feeling we'll play Baldur's Gate 3 after I make dinner. Also, sorry that you hear a bell ringing. That is Frankie. He has a toy that he loves and he's just carrying it around the house. And then I'm on chapter chapter 48 of Kissed by the Gods. Oh, which puts me on page 350, so I am very close to the end of this. I'm conflicted with my feelings on this book, to be honest. There is stuff that I like about it. I really do like the plot line and like the arc of the story, but the execution has not been my favorite. I like the world building. I like this idea of these people with magic that are supposed to be the heroes or like the great warriors, but really they're just another type of slave essentially to the king's whim. They're done in a different way. They definitely have more privilege than the regular slaves, but they definitely are still given not a lot. They're definitely still on like a tight leash from the king. I like that she is a woman in a man's world, so we're getting conversations on that, things about how women can't do anything and then she can prove that she can do it literally better. She just might have to adapt a little bit. I like the chosen one, the prophecy, the meddling gods aspect. I am not sold on the romance at all. I don't believe it. Now, do I like them both as characters? Yes, but they don't have any real depth to them in my opinion. Especially him, like I really haven't seen moments that make me believe that they fell in love or they have this romance. I'm pretty sure it's fated mates. I don't know that 100%, but I would probably put money on the fact that it's fated mates. This bell ringing is gonna annoy me so much in editing, I already know. And there's a lot of that in this story, a lot of just like, I feel a pull to do this, so I'm gonna do it, which is something I dislike. It's why I dislike fated mates, because that typically has that. But it's also just like fated for things. Like, I think the gods are like pulling at her a little bit, so she's like, well, I need to do this. And it's not just within a romance. And that is a type of storytelling that I typically dislike. I'm not the biggest fan of. She also has to be saved so often, and I'm like, you're telling me she's supposed to be this big bad kissed by the gods, like chosen one character, and then anytime something bad happens she has to be saved? And it's like, yes, believable because she doesn't have all this training, but I'm supposed to believe that she's smarter and can think on her feet and do all these things, and then I feel like I don't ever get to see it, especially because the times that we should be able to see it, she often gets knocked out, she often like falls unconscious, and then she's just saved, which is something I literally despise when books do, especially repeatedly, and it's happened so many times in this story. So like, I have a lot of complaints. I really do. I'm not like loving this. I probably could have DNF'd it and been okay with that, but I also am happy I continued because I do like elements. I do like the like Pegasus animal. I do like this idea of this veil and things they're fighting, and I like the like military training aspect, although we're not getting a lot of the training aspect, but I like the idea of like this commander and his squad really caring for him even in a place where they're not supposed to care. I liked seeing our relationship unfold in this story when relationships are illegal within this like society, and I like lots of that. I kind of want more than that. I keep honestly in my brain comparing it to Beneath because that is a military setting with a squad with a commander. I think that's doing this book a little bit of a disservice because Beneath was so good, and they're very different. Beneath is about the found family. It's about the connections and the loyalty and stuff. And this is about finding loyalty and connections within a world that doesn't let you. And I wouldn't say Beneath has that like, you're not allowed to like hang out with each other or like do any of that. That's not really a prime focus of Beneath, even though there is elements of that. But in this one, that is a prime focus. So like, we can't have this like unyielding bond with everybody because you've been taught not to have that bond, and like that's frowned upon. I don't know. I'm unsure. I think depending on how this ends, I could really continue on and I could end up really enjoying this book as a 3-star. I don't think it could be more than a 3-star for me. It's just been a bit of a roller coaster. There are some scenes where I'm like, and then there's some scenes where I'm like, I'm really into this. Anytime we're in like the plot aspect, I find myself like really intrigued about what's gonna go down. And then I also think there's some like really incredible lines in this. Like there's some really incredible like moments that we get. I'm just a little bit disconnected from it. Let me look up. I tagged some. One of the quotes I really liked is, humans can be just as brutal as the monsters of our nightmare. Like, preach. That's 100% true because there's monsters in this world, but the humans might be the more brutal part. Another one was, when does survival become unworthy of the cost? And I thought that was really interesting as well because she was like, what do you do to survive and what is like wrong to do to survive. Like what can you like justify doing in the name of survival, which I think is something that is very interesting to discuss because yeah, like what would you sacrifice of yourself to keep on going and what would be like that hard line for you. So I do think there are some like really cool concepts in this. Like I am intrigued, and depending on how it ends, I think I would continue on in this series, but I do like have complaints. Obviously I just complained about it quite a bit. I feel like I've been on such a journey since we last talked. I've been to IKEA 3 times in the last like week and a half trying to sort out my closet, and it's officially sorted, so I have everything ready. Essentially I bought that one storage unit, actually had bought the small version of it, so I had to go back, buy the big version of it, brought it home, decided that it did work for my needs, went back in like 2 days to get another one. They were sold out, so I had to wait for them to come back in stock. Now they were back in stock, so I went and got another one, built it. I have my closet looking so much nicer. It looks so different. Like the before and after is actually crazy. So I'm very excited. Hopefully I can keep up with this system. I like that the drawers are really easy. I can see my clothes. Like I really am someone who likes to see them, and they pull out like all the way, which I like, because I found with like dressers and stuff, I would just end up digging to get to the back and then it would be messy and stuff. So I'm hoping that this system works a little bit better for me. And I really do like the way it looks in the closet, which is really nice. But throughout all of that, I have made progress in my reads. I finished Kissed by the Gods. I gave this 3 stars, probably a 3.5. I do think that if the second book was out right now, I would have picked it up right away, right after. I was intrigued enough in the storyline of this, but I think all of the things I have said throughout this video have been all of my complaints, and all of that still stuck through to the end. I feel like the romance in this was just like not that great. I think if you had taken the romance out, the book actually would have been better, because the plot and all of that was really what I was here for. The concept, I really enjoy it. There's essentially this like dark veil that characters can go into sometimes, and that's where the like Pegasus horses are from, and there's like a lot of interesting lore and aspects with that. I think the world building in this is really cool. I really liked all of that. So I definitely think I will be continuing on in this series. I enjoyed it enough. I'm hoping for like a Spark of the Everflame type journey where like I really didn't like book 1 of Spark of the Everflame, and then book 2 and book 3 ended up being some of my favorite books of all time, and I really could see this going that way, especially as an author like grows a little bit. And I think the romance has potential, even though I didn't like it. But if we get like real definition to the characters and depth to their story and why they like each other, and maybe we just say they're fated mates and then we can move on with the insta love, you know, that'll work really well for me. And I liked a lot of this. I liked the conversational woman in a man's world. I really did. I liked having her be hit on and that just be like usual for her, or like the men not know what she should wear to a brothel because they've never had to deal with women in their ranks before, or her having to like shower last because it's like a group shower system. I also liked the idea of like corruption happening at the top, things like that, like stuff we learned about society and why society is the way, like the fact that knowledge is power and that history is written by the victor. Like all of that are really heavy themes in this story that I really did enjoy. So I'm very excited that I read this and very happy to carry on in the series when the next one comes out. And then of course we saw the clip of me picking my next read as well, and I am 100 pages into Because I Killed Him. This is so good. Listen, I'm a dystopian girly at my core. I love dystopian. I always have. I love the themes in dystopian, and when it's good, it's so good. And this one, I have a feeling that this is going to be the best of the best. We have a society that is broken down by your blood type, and our main character is a green, and that is a low citizen. And all the blood types have different enhancements. So if you're a blue blood, you're at the top, and they have the most enhancements genetically, which is what makes them incredible. And then they also have like their foot in all the developments and stuff. And so there are different rules. And there's also something called a private person and a public person. And when you come of age at 21, you become a public person. But our main character is actually going to become a public person at 18 because she wants to join a specific school. If you go to the school, you have to become a public person. So as a private person, all your records are sealed. Since her family's pretty high up, her father is a politician. He is a representative of the Greenbloods. There is like an aspect of democracy in this, but you see the corruption of democracy at the same time within this, which I think is very real to what's happening in our world, how they sway votes and how they use threats and stuff and all of that. And so she's had protection from her father her entire life, and now that she's becoming a public person, his protection is going to kind of wear off, and And the thing is, the day she becomes a public person, her father makes a very, very controversial bill pass. Him and the democracy, they have a vote to ban a substance called bliss, which is a drug. And this drug is very harmful to a lot of green society, but it's a moneymaker. So a lot of blues don't want it to go away. And a lot of people are on this drug, so they also don't want it to go away, even though it is very, very harmful. But when this passes, it wasn't expected to pass. And now every person who voted for this bill is kind of a target because the people that didn't want bliss to go away are not that great of people. And so our main character, of course, is becoming a public person on that day, and she needs help to get through this because she's becoming a target, and you see the corruption and how people get away with things and how they get away with the worst things. And this first 100 pages is literally just that, and that is all in the synopsis. And as I told you all that, that's really not a spoiler because the journey that you're gonna go through, the feelings that you're gonna have, like I feel like I went on an emotional roller coaster. I'm so excited to get back to it. I was actually cleaning the house yesterday, and I ended up cleaning more because I didn't want to stop reading, which is always a really good feeling for me. I was like, what if I clean another room? There is a romance in this, and our main character sought out the protection from a blue, and so I'm excited to see where that goes. The system in this is really cool. There's like AI and stuff. There's robots that have to be dressed in pink so that people know they're robots because they can be so realistically human otherwise, which is something that could happen in our world for sure. So I just think the close narrative to what's happening to us right now is going to be really good. I think there is discussions on AI and stuff in this as well, I'm assuming, because we've already had like robots be hacked and stuff and what that meant and what they can get away with. And I'm very, very interested to see where this goes. And I'm hoping for a 5-star, and I'm predicting it right now. I kind of feel disgusting today, so I've just been kind of sitting around watching TV, but I have been doing some reading. And I just have to say that this book is absolutely incredible. I feel like it's falling prey to me just not having a lot of time to physically read or like having the mindset to physically read. But when I do, I don't want to stop reading it. And like what just happened, I'm internally screaming about. Like it's being set up so good. The characterization, the motivations, the depth to them. It's gonna be really, really good, I think. This book should have been more than one book. I'm on page 491, so I'm like pretty far into this. And the first, I want to say like 300 pages were 5 stars, incredible, amazing. I so vibed with. And then I want to say whatever I've been reading since then has just really felt like middle book syndrome for me. I just think that the pacing of this is too slow for me. It's more like character development and moments like that. So I do think a lot of people are going to love it for that. I just don't think a first book in a series needs to be 700 pages. I think that's too much. That's too long. This could have been almost 3 books in itself. Like I see the arc of a trilogy happening within this one book. And this is a series. It does say the 9 Gentlemen book 1, but right now this is kind of feeling like a standalone. So I'm curious because there's nothing online. I'm like, will this be a series of standalones that like follow different people, but like are part of like the same concept and like world and like overarching plot? And I think if something like that happened, that would make me actually more invested, even though like that's typically not my favorite. I really wish that that had then been duologies, but I don't know. I love the conversations and the commentary in this. I think that part is so well done. The politics of the world, the democracy of the world. I don't think we see a lot of dystopian that are actually still democracies. We don't see the corrupted government within democracy, and this is doing that so well because like you see our world in this. They're voting on bills. They have a jury happening right now, but they've been threatening people to like not come out and like testify and things like that. You're seeing the corruption of the system that we actually have, and I think showing a light on that is really good for like us as like actual human beings who live in this society, because I don't think everyone realizes how corrupt our world can be and is. And I think like some of these systems that are put into place, like this book does a really good job of being like, this was made for a good reason, but people have taken advantage of it. Like this system was made to benefit us all and help us all, and then corruption overtook it. And so we need to get back to those like core feelings of like helping everybody and not letting the people who ran with power and just like are power hungry and power thirsty corrupt it even more. I don't know. I love that element. Like that is 6 stars. That is like incredible for me. I just think it's too long. Like truly, I just think it's too long. And you know what? That sounds awful to say because I'm a binger of books. Like if this was a series, I would read them all back to back. So like how does that feel like one book then is too long? If I would have read 2 books easily, but I think it's just just about the pacing of the actual story and where things go. And I'm just struggling a little bit with this one, especially as we've gotten into their romance. And like the moment we have now is a slow burn, but not really a slow burn. Yes, it is a slow burn because they don't like fall in love. They don't like have moments together of romance until like halfway to 70% through. But as soon as they do, it's no longer a slow burn. And I want a slow burn to continue that. I want the pacing of a slow burn, I think, to be a consistent uphill battle, not nothing, and then a spike. Like that doesn't feel like a slow burn for me. But like also the tension and the yearning and everything is incredible because they're different colors and stuff and they're not meant to be together, and like what is going to happen when people find out they are together. Like that is keeping me intrigued, and I'm intrigued by the politics and everything. I just think this is too long. Saving my final thoughts and final verdict until I'm done, because there are so much about this that I am loving, and then I'm just feeling like it's dragging on a little too long. I don't even have complaints really, it's just too long. Okay, bye-bye. Don't mind my wet hair because I had to have a thinking shower because I finished Because I Killed Him. And I'm just very, very conflicted with my thoughts on this book. I have no idea what to rate it. I'm frustrated because I want to give this book 5 stars. There's so much I did love about it, but I just don't think I can, because when I finished it, it just didn't have that feeling. There was times when I read this book where I was waiting for it to end. It's just far too long. It just is missing a lot of structure in my opinion. So in this story, we follow an entire year of school. And so we do ups and downs within the school year. And I think it's missing like 3-act structure or something just to hold it together and keep it on pace. It almost felt like we got that 3-act structure multiple times throughout this story. This is definitely the first book. There is definitely going to be more. It ends on a cliffhanger. We're definitely following the same characters. I know I kind of said earlier, I wonder if it's a standalone of companion like romance novels. No, we are following the same character for sure in the second book. If we're not, I'm going to riot. Something that also scares me is that in the acknowledgements it says it took them 4 years to write this book. What does that mean for my sequel? Does that mean I'm getting the sequel in another 4 years? Because I'm not that type of reader. I need it in like a year, 2 years tops. If you make me wait, I will forget. And that's who I am. And that obviously kind of crappy. Like I wish I wasn't that way, but like I like to marathon series. And I know my love of books goes down the longer between them. But I loved these characters. Like I want to spend more time with them. I really did love what we got, even though I have like complaints about the pacing. Because of the pacing, because of the length of this, I feel like I watched our characters grow up. I watched their first year of college, you know? Like I watched so many firsts, so many like mistakes, so many things they should have changed. And I think that this would work so well as a TV show because of how it's written. It just didn't like necessarily translate into a book for me. It feels very, very slice of life in a dystopian story. I also want to say, like, for the dystopian premise, this is the best dystopian I've read, just like for the commentary, how close it is to our society. Obviously, we don't have blue blood. We're not like generated in a lab. Like all of these people are generated in a lab. You no longer get pregnant and have a baby. You're a tube baby. You have genetics that are just like bred into you through science. They pick and choose if you're going to be stronger, if you're going to be smarter, like things like that. I think there's also kind of then a conversation on genetics in this, because we see our greens, who are not supposed to be as strong as blues, beat the blues in battle sometimes, even though the blues are supposed to be smarter and stronger and everything better than the greens, you know? So how can the greens still, you know, beat them? There is like this commentary, really, really slightly, like you kind of have to look for it, I think, about that. But the commentary on democracy, on corruption in your government, in politics, on how it all trickles down, how they scare you with propaganda, how they get you because they make you feel like you have to not care about other people, you cannot stand out, you cannot risk yourself for someone else because that'll just end up punishing you. And so then nobody ever looks out for each other, so we still sit in this hole of like we are lower than them. That's how they get us, you know? If we all just banded together, we could take down the system. And like that commentary was so good. Like I could go on and on and on and on and on about the dystopian concept in this. The commentary, incredible. I loved it all. I think I talk about how I wanted to be a lawyer a lot. I also used to volunteer for the political party here. I volunteered for the NDP as a kid. I have always enjoyed politics. I've always enjoyed the concept of making a difference through politics. I probably could have done a poli-sci major in university before I dropped out. So like there is that. Like my family is pretty heavy in politics. My grandfather was actually an MLA here when we were younger. He ran for the NDP. So like I did grow up around politics, and I think think that those concepts in here really did reach to me as we talked about it and things like that. So like I loved all of that. I loved the characters. Literally my only complaint is the damn pacing. Like this book felt too long, and that just like frustrates me because this should have been a 5-star. It is everything in the making of a 5-star if I just hadn't had spots where I was like, can this book end? Because like what else are we doing here? Like I don't need to watch you on a hovercraft 4 times. I don't need to watch you go out to the speakeasy. Like I don't know. There's so many elements I loved. I loved all the high stakes moments, but some of the slice of life did really get to me. But I think as a series as a whole, because of the slice of life elements, I could also see this being incredible because I think you'd be so emotionally invested, kind of the way I'm so emotionally invested into Zodiac Academy because I've like seen every aspect of their lives. And I'm very excited to see what our characters end up growing into. The commentary on this one character who is better because he's a blue, obviously he's not actually better, and he sees the wrong, but he's also not willing to make a choice and like stand against his own kind. But then in small ways he's trying to help, but like that's not enough. Like that discussion, that commentary, that's so real. Like how do we make changes? And also the changes do start small. It's in Lord Anna helping give credits to a citizen. It's in all those small moments that ended up building to bigger moments, you know? It's her dad fighting for the bliss ban. It's all of that that will help us take down this damn system. And then there's also a whole storyline about a war because there's actually like a shield around them and they have been isolated from the outside world for so many years because they were attacked at one point and now they have a shield up. There's all this stuff going on. There's so much in this book, like so much to love and appreciate. And as I talk about it, I'm like, maybe I should give it 5 stars, but it just didn't have that feeling. And that's really frustrating. But I think it's gonna stick with me so much that I need to just like sit on this. I cannot like actually give it a rating right now. I'm assuming it's like a 4.5, but I would recommend reading this, but also it's big. I wish it had an audiobook. I think that would have made this actually a lot better too for my reading experience. And then also like maybe wait for like news of book 2 because I'm just like unsure with that 4-year timeline. That really scares me. But I am happy I read this. I will be thinking about these characters. Like I don't think I can pick up the book right away because like I am processing everything we went through in this story, which is sometimes the benefit of a long book, you know? It's so frustrating. I feel like I'm contradicting myself so much. But that is reading. You know what? I did not read as much as I wanted to in this vlog. It also took me all month, which was not the plan. It was supposed to be like a week long. I am no longer in a reading slump. I'm liking everything I'm reading, but I'm trying to balance my life a little bit more, and I think I've teetered too much the other way, and I just need to learn how to fit reading, especially physically reading, back into my life, especially with Love Island on right now. Like that's taking up a lot of my reading time because I watch that every night instead of reading like for an hour before bed. And so that is really a hard part, but I don't want to read 3 books in a month. That's all I've read this month. Like that is not what I want. I would like to read at least 5. I feel like that is my happy place. So I need to work it back into routine somehow. If anyone has any tips or tricks, honestly, maybe that should be my next vlog, like trying to build routine again around reading. Also, thank you to Tarot Readathon for happening this year. It tends to happen every single year in June or July. So if you missed it this year, make sure to come back to Deja and Noelle's channels next year and then you can participate again. I love this readathon. It did have me excited to pick new books up and keep reading. I'm so sad I could only read so little books for it. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video and you'd like to leave me an emoji to say you were here, leave me a green emoji for our green-blooded queen in this story. And if you'd like to continue watching my videos, I'm gonna leave my latest unhaul on the screen because I loved this. It's kind of like a vlog style try a chapter unhaul, and also my TBR for July. And I hope you have an absolutely remarkable day.